This, plain and simple, this is Project 2025. Project 2025 by another name. They knew how unpopular Project 2025 was, but the right-wing ideologues are still in control. So they had to do it in a different way, but it has the same consequences and will have the same horrible, negative, overwhelming reaction from the American people. Last night, President Trump plunged the country into chaos without a shred of warning. The Trump administration announced a halt to virtually all federal funds across the country. In an instant, Donald Trump has shut off billions, perhaps trillions of dollars that directly support states, cities, towns, schools, hospitals, small businesses, and most of all, American families. This is a dagger at the heart of the average American family in red states, in blue states, in cities, in suburbs, in rural areas. It is just outrageous. Funds for things like disaster assistance, local law enforcement, rural hospitals, aid to the elderly, food for people in need, all are on the chopping block in this new administration. Why? They need tax cuts for the ultra-wealthy, and these cuts, they think, will fund them. Every one of our offices has been deluged with calls from people who are in panic. What is this going to mean? What if I have a hospital that has people on life support? What are we going to do? And just like the January 6th pardons, this decision is lawless, dangerous, destructive, cruel. It's illegal. It's unconstitutional. I spoke to my Attorney General this morning. She's head of the State Attorneys General Association. They're going to court right away on this horror. This, plain and simple, this is Project 2025. Project 2025 by another name. They knew how unpopular Project 2025 was, but the right-wing ideologues are still in control. So they had to do it in a different way, but it has the same consequences and will have the same horrible, negative, overwhelming reaction from the American people. And who is going to be the implementer of this? None other than the chief cook and bottle washer of Project 2025, Russell Vought. Putting someone like Russell Vought at OMB, the architect of Project 2025, is a huge danger sign to America.
I think we will get significant clarity in terms of regulation. We will get legislation as well. I think many more policymakers in Washington understand that this was a single vote issue for many voters, especially young voters. And so this is becoming much more of a bipartisan issue. And of course, you have the executive branch also supporting it mightily, proposing that we include Bitcoin in Treasury reserves. So you've got, I think we're going to have support of all three branches of government are going to be supportive, which is a big change.
Well, it would be a big change. And I mean, are we really sure of that, I suppose, is the question, because Gary Gensler, the SEC, had a very different view of the risks and the retail investor protections that should be in place when it comes to crypto. There are surely a lot of people who still believe that's important.
Well,
welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And also, guys, make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have Chuck Schumer on Trump freezing federal spending. Calls it Project 2025. And you know we call it the path to the fourth industrial revolution. And we know we're watching a movie. Just get your popcorn, sit back, and let it play out. And we have Kathy Wood on regulation coming to crypto. And we know stablecoin regulation is going to come first. But they always talk about these stable coins being backed by U.S. Treasuries, but then say no CBDC. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You're still backed by the United States dollar, so that keeps the Fed in control of the dollar. Remember, a CBDC is nothing but a stable coin. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And guys, you know, I talk about the social credit, social shopping, social working. And now we finally has X and Visa partner to bring peer-to-peer payments on the platform, X Money account, and launching this quarter. And we see the digital economy being sped up. And we know Trump has 4 years to land us in this fourth industrial revolution. Whether robots, algorithms, and drones take the economy over, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. Get that free money airdrop to them. And that's the reason why they're going to have these wallets on these social media platforms where they won't even know that they're using these cryptos. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Well, I think he didn't understand that this is the next big wave of the internet. This is the layer of the internet that developers did not build in the early 90s because no one thought anyone would buy or use financial services on the internet. I remember back then, no one was going to give their credit card to the internet, right? This is the next big wave, and it's a huge efficiency move for the financial services sector. So in terms of Bitcoin specifically, it is really the leader in a new asset class. And we have a paper out on that. You can see the low correlations, which do define a new asset class. And it is a global monetary system. It's a very big idea. My professor, mentor, friend, Art Laffer, when he collaborated with us on our Bitcoin paper in 2015, he said, "This is what I've been waiting for since the U.S. closed the gold window in 1971. So he has been energized by this new movement towards a rules-based global monetary system.
Do you think Trump's going to be on board with that? Like the president has indicated he's quite a big fan of the US dollar, and it sounds like what you're suggesting is a replacement for the US dollar.
No, we actually think that that these two will coexist, and if anything, what we're seeing with the stablecoin movement, which is how people is the on-ramp into decentralized financial services. They're all backed by Treasury securities, which de facto they're backed by the dollar. So we think that movement is gaining momentum here, especially now with the deregulation.
You say they're rules-based, but then we see more coins coming all the time. So they might be restricted
from
supply.
the president.
Yeah, from the president and his wife. So you
I
can...
said Bitcoin was rules-based.
Okay.
21 million units, and we're nearly at 20 million now. So that scarcity value will continue to support Bitcoin going forward. So I live in Florida, and the governor of Florida, Governor DeSantis, has said he will never allow a central bank digital currency to be used in Florida. I think Texas has said the same thing. This is a states' rights issue, and it's all about privacy. Many people here in Europe don't think we care about privacy. On this one, on this score, we care about privacy, and this president very much supports that point of view.
Well, you're talking then, wading back into the idea of regulation and cryptocurrency. A viewer is also kind of chiming into this conversation. Cryptocurrency has rallied so much on that speculative ability and being unregulated. But if you're talking about these almost caveats to stable coins or caveats to Bitcoin or caveats to other tokens that may be traded, doesn't that kind of eliminate the fundamental appeal of what has moved it to 103,000?
So Bitcoin, I don't agree with that at all. I thought where you were going was all of these tokens being issued. We went through another period like this. It was 2017, and Bitcoin that year went from less than $1,000 to $20,000. that was the ICO boom. And most of those failed. So it's buyer beware.
Yep.
Be careful. And that is why we need some regulation here, because it's out of control, as I think you would say. Bitcoin's a completely different animal, though. Completely different.
Isn't Bitcoin just a correlated asset to tech? That's the lesson from yesterday.
No, it isn't. Actually, it's part of the tech movement.
The correlation on the numbers looks pretty convincing.
It's part of the tech movement. But if you look at Bitcoin, it has served as both a risk-on asset, so that's tech, yes, but also a risk-off asset. When we went through the regional bank crisis in the U.S. in the spring of 23, Bitcoin took off. Why? Because there's no counterparty risk in
If big tech
Bitcoin.
sells off, will crypto go down significantly?
The correlations are there is a correlation, but it is not as high as, small cap equities to large cap equities. The more institutions get involved, the more correlations will go up. But right now, if you look at the statistics, the correlations in terms of returns and risk among these assets, very different.
So X is striking a deal with Visa to be the first partner for what it is calling the X Money account. Since buying Twitter in 2022, Elon Musk has talked about turning the social media site into a, quote, everything app, where users could send payments and store cash. By using the payment rails of Visa, the world's biggest credit card network, X users can move funds between traditional bank accounts and the X Money account. They can store funds there and also make instant peer-to-peer payments with other X users, like with Zelle or Venmo, I'm told. The X Money service is expected to launch in the first quarter, and deals with more financial partners are likely, said one person with knowledge of the matter. One of the first use cases for X Money is so that creators on the site can accept payments and store funds without using external banks, I'm told. Minutes ago, X Corp CEO Linda Yaccarino said in a post that it is, quote, first of many big announcements about X Money this year.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go, but clearly we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China. But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. We will, and if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're going to get more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and you know, when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence.
Cryptoteacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, if new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Drama Team save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Drama Team save New York from COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Drama Team goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.